No, sorry. I want to know, like, how can I have an interaction, like a chat session? So what should I search for? Um, Super. Okay, I get that. Hey everyone. It's really to have you all here. So I don't want to give some recursions here. So let me zoom this out of a way. Um, okay, it's going low long. Yeah. Super. Yeah, I can actually see you all there. It's amazing. So let me have a very quick, just kind of, confirmation. Like, can you all guys hear me? Just give, like, you have to be super with the chat box, the live chat. All right. So can you guys hear me? Oh, is that so? I think. Let me check in another way. Super. So that's cool. That's great. Okay. And also, like, this session, we're gonna speak about the whole introductory of machine learning and all about that. So Kabir, is the voice is breaking? But I see a lot of people saying the voice is breaking. Um, Perfect, Sin. Okay, so this session, which could be like uncovering machine learning, it's more about, like, if you are the person. So let me tell you one thing: who are actually learning, or if you are not, and also if you're into that, and if you wanted to get into this, then for you. So this is going to be a kickstarting session for you if you are in, if you wanted to get into data science, and also what you want to know, what is that all about, and what to do with that, and how can I get into Jumpstart and everything, all of that. Okay. So this is all about that. So we have a lot of things coming up, saying that the supervised, unsupervised, and the reinforcement, and many other. So we get a lot of things coming up in the meantime. So what's really important here is we need to understand the purpose, right? And no matter anything, even this is a machine learning or even this anything, so it's more about your purpose, right? So we're going to deep dive into the purpose of machine learning. We're going to deep dive why do we need to learn that, and why it's the most important thing that you could actually get into as a fresher, or you want to get into do something with the machine learning or everything, right? So are you guys ready for getting in? Give a quick yes in the chat so that we could jump start in. Super. So yeah, let's do this. Perfect. So what I'm going to do here is that we're going to go, like, why the data science is so hard. And also, if you just go Googling out, like, the data science jobs, you would be finding a flutter, right? You will be finding a lot of positions happening. But there is a conflict between the developer positions and also with the data science position and all about that, the machine learning engineers, data analysts, and many other positions out there. But why is this data science is so hard in this 21st century, or what you call in this era, right? But why the data science is booming up, and why the machine learning people are actually coming ahead and just saying that we're going to do this, right? So, but why is the thing happening, right? That is a one thing that I'm really going to uncover in this session. Why is it going so high, and why do you need to learn that, right? So if you see into the statistics, right, from from the beginning until 2005, like the back in 2005, human had created 130 exabytes of data. All right. So till the time from the beginning of the internet till 2005, humans in the world has created 130 exabytes of data. All right. So that is the amount of the data that humans has created till the time of the internet to till 2005. That is 130 exabytes of data, right? But if you go ahead and see the statistics forward, what's happening here is from the beginning to 2005, you see 130 exabytes of data, and from 2005 to 2000, and also you can see for the 2010 to you can see that 1200 exabytes of data, right? You can see that how the data generation is being so ramping so high, right? If you see that 2010 to 2015, you can see 7900 exabytes of data. Okay. And it's almost expected, and it's almost that it's more than 40,900 exabytes of data in 2020, right? 2020 we got a huge amount of data. And why am I sharing this all to you is because when we see this data can be anything. It's maybe your YouTube search, or it's maybe your Instagram post, or it's maybe your Amazon purchase, right? It can be anything, right? So this all the data is being generated by you. What is so related to the data science jobs and amount of the data is getting created every single year, right? So that is the whole thing of the data science intersection. So when the data is getting so much generated with the search history, with the recommendations, with the uploads, with the new data, what we call the injections and everything, you keep giving the data to the internet, and the data is um, getting gathered so much. Now we need the people who are engineers or data scientists, or statisticians, or you call many other people, like the many other positions have been created just to make use of this data. All right. So let me give you a very quick example for this. So let's suppose you're going to Amazon, you're searching for a lot of things, and you search for something like maybe it's about a laptop, right? You search for a laptop and you see that, and you find the recommendations to also buy a mouse or a keyboard to just have it, or else like a webcam. So the recommendations, which is like a whole data science and machine learning happening behind the scenes. So how did that came from? Where did it happen, right? So the whole data which is being generated by all of us by searching laptop in the first place and searching with keyboard and mouse in the second place, there is a high correlation. But the people who bought laptops, there is a high probability that also they can bought for, I mean, they can purchase keyboards and mouse, right? So this is a whole sort of a correlation. So now the whole thing is in 2020, when the data is getting so much generated and a lot of data is being there, we need the people to make use out of it, right? So that is the reason why data science is booming up, and that is the reason why data science people are getting highly paid this time. Not all these positions will get highly paid, but there is a few positions that are really getting highly paid. But if you look into the positions and the payments, I mean the packages or for the positions, that would be vary from developers to data science jobs. That's another topic. That's another story again. All right. So that is a whole crux, like why the data science is booming up these days. Is just because the amount of data that is being created these days is actually so huge, and we need the people to make use of the data, to get insights from it, to make results from it, right? So that is the whole purpose why data science is being so booming, right? And this is unusual thing, like the Sundar Pichai says, the AI, the first world, they have the Google, and also you just mentioned like Google is an AI company, just because Google, if you just look out any product that Google has, almost all the products has the machine learning into it, right? Just because they had enough data generated by all of us who are the users of the Google products. Maybe it's a YouTube or Gmail, photos, all is a different topic there. So you have all these different things, right? So when we have all these things together, and you make a lot of data from it, right? And they definitely make use of the data, and that's where the position of the machine learning engineers and data scientists comes in, right? When they have the data and they need to make analysis, and they make some results, and they get some uses and advantages out of it, right? So that's how it coming up. And if you can also see that this is the old statistics, I should say that this is very bad. But the thing is, there are 21 million developers now in the world, but there are only less than 1 million data scientists just now, data scientists, right? So, but what I feel it changed a lot. This specific slide is kind of outdated, but it did not go beyond the developers. Okay, so but when we compare in a different way, we look into it. The positions for developers is 21 million now. It's not now, but it's more than that. But when we look into developers and the ratio between developers and data scientists, it's always the developers are higher than comparatively to the data scientists, right? So, and now the 2020 situation where they have tons of data, like I know I don't need to use the tons now, but I can use exabytes and many other bytes of the data. So now the thing is you need the people to work with it, right? So that is a reason. I think you get that. And so to just have a very, you might be thinking about a lot of things like AI, machine learning, and deep learning, all of that. So this is the picture that I really wanted to keep you in mind before we move forward, right? So just keep this picture in your mind. When I speak about deep learning, it's nothing but it's a subset of a machine learning, but the machine learning is nothing but a subset of AI, right? So when I speak something of these words, you should need to figure out this. So when I speak machine learning, it's already a part of artificial intelligence, right? If I speak deep learning, it's actually a strategy or an approach using various neural networks into the machine learning, right? So that is the whole thing that you need to keep in mind when we move ahead, right? So let me know if you have any questions till this time. Let me go to the chat and let's see. If you have any questions, put it up here. um Perfect. I don't see any questions coming up. So if I get to know if you guys got up any questions, so then I will definitely make this. I will definitely consider answering them. So perfect. Let's move ahead. And here is the one thing that when we speak about this data existence everywhere, and you wanted to make use out of it, right? So now the interesting part is that what it takes to be a data scientist, right? What I really need to be get into, what I really need to have in my as a skill set so that I could be a better data scientist, or getting into data science would be helping a lot, right? So this is another diagram which is so popular. You would be have seen it so many places. So this is one of the most important thing that you need to consider when we speak about data science, right? It's moreover nothing but an intersection of different fields. Not only the data science, but if you look into many other technologies or many other domains, it's always an intersection of multiple things. And in this case, in the data science, it's the intersection of computer science, mathematics, and domain knowledge. All right. So, but sometimes if you move forward and you think about in other situations, it may be, and it can be intersection of even more than these three, right? So that's how the real time things comes into the play. But here, this is like a foundational, the rock bottom things, which is so intersectional. You can't have more. I mean, less than this, right? So if you have the design is obviously like you need to have the computer science skill set with you, and then the mathematics and statistics is actually required. They are definitely required for you, because if you're not into the mathematics for you don't need to get into mathematics in the first place, but you should be learning it and understanding in a better way to make a more sense of the data, right? And the domain or a business knowledge is moreover depends on the customers, right? Let's suppose if you have the Amazon, if you want to build a recommendation system, so it's moreover you need to build the whole application. That's the computer science part, the programmatical way. And then the next one, if you're going to go to the recommendation system, a very cool approach is using the naive base. Naive base is an algorithm where you use different statistics techniques, and also uh, probability techniques to actually make some results, right? So that is a mathematical things comes in between. And then the other one is when you have the relation between different products, that you need to have the correlation, and you need to find out which fits for what, and what makes the sense. And that's all dependent on the audience set, and how far the purchase goes on, and many other things comes in between. This is the domain knowledge, right? So if you can see these things in a different way, when you want to build that recommendation system for the Amazon, then you are absolutely you are going to be the intersection of all of this, right? So the computer science for building up the application, or maybe the mathematical skills for getting at the results, and the domain knowledge to make it more better, right? So that's how it looks into. And you can also see that the machine learning, where it come from. And these days, these roles are being used in many other ways. They're not actually clearly defined, but they can be. So I'm going to talk about a few jargons coming up. So these are the few jargons that I really want to share with you. Not all of them, but a very few. So you might be heard about like what is so these three things. When I speak about the data science and machine learning and artificial intelligence, I have shown you in the figure, like just to keep in mind like what they're all about, right? And then if you see that data engineering, data mining, data warehousing, big data analytics, data engineer, data, I mean, analyst, and machine learning engineer, data science journalist. If you look into Google, you can find even more than this. Like there will be many positions getting into data. And I guess you all know. I mean, a few of you might know all of this. So if I'm just a kind of a guy like this who have no idea in the beginning, I was just like that. But what was that all about? Like data warehousing and data engineer, machine learning, and the data science journalist. All of that are very different, right? And I want to know like how they can be classified and what sort of work each of the do. I highly recommend just taking up the picture, just figure out what positions for what the people usually do, right? You get that. So you just try to take these positions or like job descriptions. You just go to Google and just search for what does a data warehousing does, what is a big data analytics takes care about, and what sort of work that a data analyst do, right? Doing these things will actually help you a lot to actually make them to classify in your mind itself. So it would be so helpful if you could try it out. But I'm going to just tell you a few things. Like data mining is the one which is so highly used in the industry in the beginning. So there was no terms like data science or data science engineer or data scientist and all of the machine learning engineers. There are not the terms much in the beginning. So if you go back to last years and years, you can only find a few terms with this terminology. It's called the data mining. So it's moreover like a non-trivial extraction of implicit and previously unknown and potentially useful information from data. It's kind of jargonish, but the thing is, it's moreover, if you have a data from data and you wanted to get insights from it. When I say insights, let's suppose you have a hotel, and if you just go there and if you see the analytics, I mean the whole purchase history of the whole hotel, there is a majority of the people are actually taking takeaways rather than sitting there and eating there. Okay, so let's take this situation. Like there is a hotel, and if you see the whole purchase history, like their customers are actually taking a lot of takeaways to their homes instead of sitting there and having a dine-in, right? So if you have this situation, so if you just go through that, if you wanted to mine something from this data, you just need to check that out. Like why the customers are actually taking the food away instead of sitting here, and why was it happening? If you just go through the data and just have a better understanding, so you can see the complaints, you can see what sort of approaches they're going up, but there might be some sort of external factors for it. Just because the tables are not clean, just because they're going up, but maybe think about it. The people who are coming, the customers there, they are the employees of a software company where they take the food to their canteen and they eat there, right? There is a high possibility. So this is an external thing where you don't need to find, you don't genuinely find it, or you just need to know it, right? So this is a non-trivial, which is not small, extraction of an implicit, previously unknown, and potentially useful, right? This sort of information is so much useful when you try to have a business model for the customers, right? If you know that the person is a software engineer, you can actually try various things within your hotel, and you can come up with better results and better business insights and everything, all of that, right? So that's how it goes up. So data mining is a simple term that you can just move into. I'm not going to cover most of it, but just behind that. So if you talk about the machine learning stuff, it's more where if you just have how we are the humans, right? So how do we usually learn the things? So this is kind of very tricky for me. Help you to understand this, but very very simple. Just think about it. Okay, let's get into the chat and let me know, like, how do usually people learn? Hey, we got a few questions here. Sorry, I didn't notice these all. Definitely, I'm gonna answer you all of this here. Um, okay, let me. You guys, I think it's lagging. I don't see the questions earlier, but I'm seeing the questions now. So how machine learning is related to cybersecurity? Cool. I really love helping you all with these questions. So let me answer you a few stuff here. Okay. How do I start my career in machine learning? We're gonna do that. We're gonna cover that, and a list of all topics of math and studies need to be need for data science, please. Cool. So Japan Rana. Okay. So here the thing is, list of topics for maths and statistics need to be need for data science, please. In the sense, you know, start with probability. Okay, start with probability and then understand what actually a probability mean. This is going to be challenging. Okay, so when we have the classes, right, when we have the usual statistics class in our classroom, where I don't like them, I'm so genuine to you. I never used to have the statistics classes because they never had to be get into my mind. I was so conscious about it, but I couldn't able to make it. But question yourself why the probability of heads is 1 by 2. Okay, so question yourself for this. If you have a situation like, you know, we all been taught with various things, when you toss a coin, you get heads or tails, right? And then if your teacher or your person who taught you would be definitely said you that the probability of getting a heads or the probability of getting a tails when you toss a coin is 1 by 2, right? So now my question for you is why? What on earth made you to think about it? Like, why did you convince it? And you need to figure out the reason. You need to figure out the purpose. Like, why? What? I mean, what is the main reason that the probability of tossing a coin is actually 1 by 2? Why is that? So that is the first thing that you need to figure it out. If you get to understand that, then you can actually understand the whole things from the probability and statistics and all about that. You can actually have another dimension of intuition. So that is so much important. Just think about it and start with probability. And you need to definitely check this out, Monte Carlo simulation. Okay, Monte Carlo simulation is one of the best things that I ever learned. Those simulations will help you to make a better intuition within you. All right, so look about that Monte Carlo simulations, and also you can note this down. And the other thing is the problem. Start with the probability, go with many other things, and then move on to statistics, right? And once you're on it, if you're having thoughts to get into deep learning, then consider getting into what we call the calculus, right? And you need to be good at discrete mathematics. Sometimes you need to be good at what we call many other mathematics topics there. All right, so my kind of suggestion, if you ask me, like, get started with the probability, and then you move to the statistics, and then you move to anything. All right. All right, let me go for another question. Basic skills, as I just mentioned, that's the thing for getting the certificates. How do I start? Okay. How machine learning related to cybersecurity? Machine learning related to cybersecurity in many ways, right? So it can be in many ways. So machine learning is kind of a service. You can look into that. Okay. So if you have anything, I mean, when you talk about that, how things are related, just think about it. If you have just look into Amazon, right? If you have the whole product, if you have all the products and you are selling it in the Amazon, machine learning is not the whole product, it's just a service, right? You're just giving some recommendations, and you're just having some classification whether the comments are positive comments or the negative comments and all about that. Just this AI and machine learning coming into the Amazon as a huge product, which is just a simple service, right? So in most of the cases in the industry, machine learning can be a simple service, but sometimes machine learning can be a huge product as well. But if you get seen to this, and in the cybersecurity as well, if you look into many other things, mm, the cybersecurity, like if you have a product which can actually detect some sort of malicious attacks coming up, where definitely machine learning can be a service which can be running in the backend, which can actually try to detect you some sort of Trojan attacks or some malicious attacks coming into I mean, your locations or anything. So there can be many use cases, right? So that's how the things are always related, because machine learning can be into many ways, because it can be a simple service, it can be a huge product as well. um I got a lot of questions. I like your word. Oh, thank you so much, Win. How machine learning is related? Okay, I did that, and from there, past experience. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I was. Okay, if is math is a barrier if I hold data science career, if math is barrier if I hold data science. Okay, so math wouldn't be a barrier for you. I'm so sure about it. Just start with understanding, trying out. But what I feel is, if you wanted to have very clear understanding the crux of any algorithm. So let's suppose if you have some sort of any prediction algorithm like the weather prediction, right? So if there is, so the weather prediction can be happen from the previous and the past experiences, right? What happened when the clouds are so dark, like when you see outside, you definitely predict it, right? If you go out and you see the dark and the clouds are so dark and it's so dim and so chilled out and the breezes are so cool, then you definitely gonna figure out, like, you predict saying like, oh my god, it's going to be a huge rain coming up, right? So you just made a prediction there. So imagine the same way, if you want to have a model or a machine wanted to predict whether the rain is going to happen or not, definitely it needs some data, right? As how you made the data, your data is like the seeing of the sky, whether it's dark or not, whether the feeling of the breeze or the cool or not. So you just make up some prediction. So in the same way for the machine, they need a data of years. So just look into this kind of data for past years, whether these situations gave the rain or not, whether this time, this month, and this season, whether resulted in these situations, whether it got the rain or not, or the wind speed and everything. These are all the data, right? When you have this data and you can make the predictions, right? In the same way, if you wanted to go deep into prediction models, so when you have these models, you are predicting something, right? So if you want to go deeper and understand how is that predicting, then you definitely need mathematics. You should require mathematics if you want to know the crux, if you want to know what's actually happening inside. But if you don't want to know, if you just want to have the application where you just need to use the service and you see that the prediction is happening, you don't need you don't need mathematics. Okay, so if you wanted to go to the crux, understand that, and wanted to try something from it and create something more better than something existing, then you really require mathematics in first place. More probably the statistics and probability. But if you don't want to get into so deeper, I'm going to use the existing service which other data scientists has created. So possibly you can use it. You don't need mathematics for that. All right, it's your chance and it's your decision whether to go with mathematics or not. All right, so that's the answer that I could give you. Okay. Okay, when you ask this data science and machine learning, or similar in the sense, it's moreover like a data science is like as I just shown you the image. It's like a huge domain. Like this all comes into data. Whenever you deal with data, obviously you're just getting into the data science. When you try making something predictions or you want to analyze the data, then it definitely comes under your role into the data science domain. Um, what are the jobs related to AI? So when I shown you, right, the previous slide, you can just see this. These are all the roles, like even more than these roles. You can find a lot of roles in internet. Like there are many roles. Can you suggest other sources who can learn? I'll do that. I'll do that in the end. How can a BSc CS student can start a career in data science and AI? Means how to start and can be the first step. So first step for the BSc computer science student, then it will be a really good chance for you to getting into data science because you are a student now. So it means that you have really good time and you can actually use the time in a quality way so that you could definitely get into that. The way I could say you is that start with learning the probability in the first place and also with programming language. Okay, choose one thing with R or Python, just stick with one thing, and then you try being the master of it. So you just parallelly do this, whether you continue your probability and statistics terms in one hand, and also you start learning the mathematics, and you try apply that math. I mean, you just need to apply the programming knowledge with mathematics. All right. So one simple example that I could give you when you are learning machine learning is that. So if you have something like a sort of an equation or anything like any sort of what we call probability things, okay, just for simple. So if you have some sort of what we call conditional probability, okay, it's like conditional probability is nothing but what is the probability of happening something given that something else had already happened. right? This is a case where you usually solve it with your mathematics skills in a pen and a paper, right? You just take a pen and a paper and just say that probability of A by B is equals to probability of A intersection B by something else, and you just do that and you get that, right? So it's like a pen and a paper work that you do that. But what I'm saying is that when you have this probability, conditional probability, the theoretical knowledge that you do with the pen and a paper, get that off. You just take the concept and implement with the programming language. Okay, this is going to be a game changer. You're going to learn a lot by doing this. Okay, so no matter what the language is, no matter what the you are so interested into cybersecurity, look, machine learning has a role everywhere. Okay, machine learning has definitely a role for everywhere. It can be in mechanicals, it can be in cybersecurity, it can be in full stack engineer, so many other places. So the thing is, if you have, what we call the cybersecurity enthusiastics within yourself, so start analyzing the things of the security attacks, and also look for all the loopholes and all the, I think you know about, if you're talking about the cybersecurity, then you definitely know about OWASP. So OWASP is like, OWASP means, open source what was that, open web application security project. Okay, so OWASP is more over important. I'll just show you that. So what I'm saying is that when you are so interested into web applications and the security, so if you get into web, this is OWASP, like open web application security project, where you can literally find a lot of vulnerabilities, right? You just need to study about this first. Okay, OWASP top 10, if you go there, so you can see the top 10 vulnerabilities, so injections and broken authentication, and these are even more. You can see these are all the loop, I mean, what we call the bugs, like top 10 attacks, top 10 threats. So these are all the things where you definitely need to check them out, and need to understand like how the injection happening, what it takes, and what it takes, and what it happens, and everything all about that. So if you're into cybersecurity, concentrate more into the security stuff, and then machine learning can be a purpose, like you can be in many ways. So maybe you can write a machine learning models just to detect how the cross-site scripting works. So if you can write a machine learning model that can actually detect excesses in a website, right? So you can actually do that. So machine learning can be, I mean, the data science can be in many other ways, in many other different domains. So in this cybersecurity, they can be used for detection. So I know a person who was working with Trojan attacks. They can actually detect the Trojan attacks with using deep neural networks, right? So machine learning can be a part of most of the things, and it can be a service, and sometimes this can be a huge product as well. I'm just reiterating to you just to have a good knowledge about it. So Python is better and easier for R. Okay, this is kind of an interesting question, but it's a debatable as well. So what I would say you is, if you are into statistics, all right, so if you're a statistician, probably you'd be having a good idea of R and everything, because your academics more over into R and statistics. So you can use the R and go ahead. But if you are into computer science, I would highly recommend you to go with Python. All right, because when you go for the Python, you are as a computer grad, Python can be used in many ways. So if you got into Python, you can actually use for the machine learning. So look it as a tool, right? If you have Python within you, you learn it, and you have a tool like a Python within you. So you can use this tool for multiple ways, for multiple reasons. So for one thing, you can become a full stack engineer with Python. Another thing, you can become a machine learning with that. And the other thing, you can develop some backend engines with a Flask and everything, right? So if you have Python, definitely you'll be having multiple sources that you can end into. But our language is moreover a statistics language, so it's dedicated for that. Python is can be into, you can break through into multiple ways. Okay, so if you are into CS and you wanted to get into the high, I would highly recommend Python. So that's it. So how can someone earn from AWS? Okay, this is out of the subject. Oh, it's like out of syllabus. So, but I would say, if you want to earn something from AWS, it's not you earn something from AWS. It's like you earn something from AWS by using the Python. Okay, so services from the AWS and you do something of your work. Let's suppose if you have some sort of a e-commerce site, you can host your application in AWS, and then you earn from your e-commerce, not from the AWS. So oh, sorry, I'm just messing up the words. So moreover, if you wanna earn something, it will be external. If you want to use AWS, it's going to be used for the machines and you take the service, whether you pay sometimes, most of the times, sometimes you get something for free. Okay. um how can someone or guide me? I'm a fresher web developer and I don't know how I relate machine learning or deep learning. So it's good to see you're into web development and also getting into machine learning and deep learning all the time. So machine learning and deep learning, it's moreover, I was just explaining the same thing again. So that's it's moreover the data. If you talk about the web development, you have front end and the back end and the distributed systems and all about that. You host the things into cloud and all about that. But here, if you come to the data science, it's moreover understanding and analyzing the data and then making some predictions or playing even in a world. If you just seen to the data science, it's more over front and back end, the deep the distributed systems and the DevOps and everything. But if you get into the data science, it's more over data, it's more over playing with data. So you can, it's way far different, and you can actually make a lot of understanding if you can understand whole what makes the data results, right? AWS versus Azure. So it's again another out of syllabus question, but the thing is, it totally depends. If you are working for a company, if you are working for a client, sometimes the client would be demanding to use AWS, and sometimes the client would be demanding you to Azure. But what I would say you is, it's more over like anything. Okay, it's more over like it's a requirement. Like anything is a cloud, right? Everything is cloud. You can go for a cloud. You can take the instance, and you can run what are the things that you wanted to. Right? Nothing debate like Azure or AWS. It's just a cloud. It's just another computer, not yours. It's just another computer somewhere else. You're making your purpose into it, right? So don't worry about it. It whole depends on the service. It whole depends on the requirements. How to be an AI expert? Okay, so if you want to become an AI expert, okay, I'll tell you one thing. um, okay, so there are two people. All right, there are two people where one person is really an expert. So the other person was asking him, how do you become a expert, right? And the person replied saying that, I got a lot of experience. Okay, and the other person asked him back saying that, how did you get that experience? And he replied back saying, by making good decisions. Okay. And again, he asked you for, how did you make that good decisions? Okay. Now he replied back saying that, by making bad decisions. Okay, so that's how the things are so much like, if you want to become an expert, you try with different things. No, don't worry about taking bad decisions. Don't worry about doing something else. It's moreover, you try doing the things, and if you fail at sometimes, possibly you will win for the next time. Okay, so it can be in many ways. So try doing the things in different ways, and you learn from the things what you did, and you come up with, you know sorry, I hear some voice behind. Okay, it's clear now. So the thing is that, so if you want to become an expert, keep trying in different ways. Experiment with the things and keep doing it. Keeping yourself consistent with the work for years and years and years. We will be becoming an expert possibly, but the thing is, the consistency is so much important with execution. Okay, so all right, guys, like the live stream, do that. That is a way. Yeah, you do that. Just hit the subscribe or hit the like button or the bell icon, whatever you need to do that. Good. Okay, can you tell me applications of machine learning? Many things. Um, if you want to know the machine learning applications, you can see. Sorry, that's another slide. I'm not supposed to show the slide that was expired. Okay, I'll show you one. So this can be the application. So I'll just show you this one. This is interesting one. See this. If you see that, okay, yeah. So Google Translate is one of the biggest application of machine learning, right? The translation happens in seconds in real time. And many other ways, even in Amazon, you have the recommendation, YouTube recommendation systems. And if you go for Netflix recommendations, even in Netflix, and if you go for some sort of Instagram feed, they just recommend you, right? That is another graph models running behind, but there is always some sort of data science services running behind. Okay. What is the role of mechanical engineers in ML? Software developer engineers decreasing due to services of AWS and Azure? No, it's not happening in that way. Don't don't worry about it. So everywhere you need developers, as the software developer engineers are never gonna die. Don't worry about that. So you can prevail. So, and then how to learn subject from scratch easily if I have no programming language, if I have no programming languages in the sense. Okay, so if you want to learn programming languages, you can just figure out many other sources online. You can actually figure out many sources. You can go to tutorials point, you can go to Codecademy, or you can look for Progage or Udemy, Coursera, many other things. All you need to do is to try out with the different things. And again, you can ask me one thing like, oh, what is the best source to learn this? Right, but what I would say you is that, like, unless and until you figure out few things, it's up to you, right? You just figure out different way. You try Coursera, you try Udemy, you try Udacity, you try Codecademy, you try Progate and everything, and then see which is best for you, where you can understand the most. So not everyone can be fit with Coursera, not everyone can be comfortable with Udemy, right? You just need to find out what fits for you, right? You just if you wanted to find out what fits for you need to first try everything. So go ahead, explore them. You try Udemy, Coursera, EDX, or Codecademy, or anything, tutorials points, Geeks for Geeks, many things. You just go there, you try it out, you just see whether which fits for you the best, and you choose that, and you be on it, and you be on it, and you be so consistent for it for so long, and keep practicing and keep applying and executing. Then you become and you learn it. That's it. Um, what happened with Netflix, sorry, no idea much. I don't watch it much, but I see there is a very good developer team back into Netflix. There is huge thing happening. They are using AWS as their payment services, and there's no need for the front end and the back end or full stack for anything or payment service providers. That's another story again. Oh, how to use machine learning in bioinformatics. This is interesting. Okay, so when you see that bioinformatics is a really interesting domain where you have a lot of things, I'll just give you a very simple example. When you say that how to use machine learning in bioinformatics, there was a concept called diabetic retinopathy, right? You just need to search about it. I think, when you speak about bioinformatics, there's a high possibility that you know about this thing called what we call diabetic retinopathy. So diabetic retinopathy is moreover when there is a diabetic patient, right? So after a couple of years and years and years, after 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, the quality of his eyesight will be getting low, right? The person who is having diabetic for years and years, so the eyesight quality of the eyesight will be getting down, right? So that effect in his eyes, due to, he loses his sight and the vision, is called diabetic retinopathy. So you can actually have, so if you wanted to take the 20 years old diabetic person having just like 60-year-old person having diabetics for 20 years, you want to take him to a doctor and check for diabetic retinopathy. It would take days, right? It would take 2 to 3 days to get the confirmation whether the person is having diabetics or not, sorry, diabetic retinopathy or not, whether he's infected or not. But if you there are already clever systems happening around, and there are also many algorithms with the machine learning came ahead. And the thing is, instead of doing it for days and days and you come with the results, but just taking the scannings and all the eyes and all about that, you can the machine learning model can detect whether the person has diabetic retinopathy or not. You get that? So there's many other ways that you can be into that. Is there any documentation of machine learning for learning? So I bet you are a developer developing something and looking for the documentation. So it's the same with the machine learning. Documentation can be there for APIs. There are many machine learning APIs ahead, so you can check them out, like the Google Vision API. There will be pretty good documentation for that. But learning machine learning is more about you learn the subject, right? You learn the crux. If you talk about machine learning, if we need to talk about the algorithms, so one algorithm is like a navy base. So if you want to understand the navy base algorithm, so you just definitely need to understand the kind of a very good mathematics behind the scenes, right? The probability and all about that, then you get clear understanding about it, right? So that's how. So how do you take machine learning to supply chain? Sorry, I'm not into that. So cool, I've been answering you a lot of questions. It was so good. Cool. So we are on the edge. So possibly I'll share you some resources to just jump straight in. So here is now is that okay? I just got messed up with the slides. Just a minute. Oh, okay. Cool. I get that. Yeah, here it is. So it's from Ajinkya Kohle. He's one of the best teachers for me who helped me to learn a lot. So you can actually find out, use these resources to learn. All right. So sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. So you can also use this. Yeah, this one. Super. I hope you took that and let me know anything's perfect. And also, if you wanted to understand what really requires for machine learning, I'd also recommend. I just had this podcast. I'll just share with you. This would be helpful for you if you can. So you just need to check out like exploit.chat. So this is my podcast where I speak a lot about technologies, business, and life. So you can just check out this podcast if you want to do. It will be helpful if you could. So you can just go to view all the episodes. Um, and you can find Josh Stammer is an amazing person if you want to learn statistics and probability and machine learning. So I had a conversation. I got a chance to have the conversation with him. So possibly I would highly recommend to check out the Josh Stammer conversation, like how about that stuff, how we related the YouTube stuff and the mathematics in his life. And the one more other thing is that I would highly recommend to check this out. The Luis Serrano. Luis Serrano is one of the best teachers that I ever had from Udacity. So he's an instructor at Udacity and the content lead of AI. So you can actually have this like almost 1 hour 15 minutes conversation. You can listen to it as a fun. Like he was on unlocking the intuition behind math and machine learning. So I would highly recommend you can also check this out. What we call the podcast who had in conversation with Luis Serrano. It would be helpful for you. So if you want to get in, check out the Spotify. So you can just go to the home and just see for Spotify. All right. So you can have it the Spotify link. So possibly you'll definitely redirect it to the Spotify and you can see the all the episodes here. So this is me. I forgot to say this. This is me. This is my name. I'm Teja. So you can try this out and you can actually listen to Luis Serrano's conversation here. All right. So or else you can go to Spotify and search for Exploring with Teja Kummarikuntla. Okay. So perfect. I think I made it to the end. So possibly. Hey, thanks for sharing. Yeah. Find the podcast. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Do you have an Instagram? Yeah, I'm living it. So find me at Instagram. Find me at Instagram at Teja Kummarikuntla. Okay. Yeah, that's me. So HTTPS. So this is me at Instagram, and also you can find the podcast in Instagram, that exploit.chat. So I'm leaving a few URLs for you for the reference. If you want to contact me back, you can get back me in Instagram or LinkedIn as well. So I can leave you for the LinkedIn as well if you want me to do exploit.chat. Perfect. So I just sent you that as well. So the URLs I'm just sending you over. So check them out. Pretty much it. That's it. Okay. Cool. So thank you so much for joining in, guys. Thank you so much. It was so fun talking to you all, and it would help. It would mean so much to us if you could fill the feedback form. Remember, the feedback is not for this session; it's for me. So you can actually think about it and just give me the feedback. It would be helping me a lot to improve myself and delivering the content across to you all. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for the community for giving me the opportunity to speak to you and answer all your questions. And it would mean so much to me. Thank you so much.